So, folks, I've been meaning to talk about a video that More Perfect Union put out about a month ago, for the past month or so. And I just haven't found the time, but I think now is a great time to talk about it. It is basically a video of Bernie Sanders heading out to West Virginia and talking with rural Trump voters and basically seeing if he can win them over on a variety of issues, right? I think this is pretty important because this is one of those things that people say can't be done. It's a very difficult thing to do in general, and I thought we'd take a look. How does he do? And if he succeeds, how might we be able to replicate some of his wins across a lot of America? I think there are a lot of lessons we might be able to take from how Bernie Sanders interacts with working class people, because I think one of the issues is that we need to understand how these people think, because these are also going to be people who aren't just rural. These are going to be people who are in your unions or in a workplace that need to be brought around to coming into a union mindset, right? Like, these are going to be people who are in our communities, and we need to get on board with big tent maneuvers that benefit all of us. And so understanding how we can build a harmonious coalition in order to achieve those goals, I think is really, really vitally important, especially as we go into the midterms. So let's take a look.
Voters over biscuits and coffee to find out what that's all about.
I would have been nervous with a lot of different, celebrities or politicians, but you just seem so normal. You're like obviously just like a normal human.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for the damn breakfast here. I'm starving.
We already ate.
I would love to take an inventory of just personal politics in the last couple of years. Can we start off with that?
You're going to start with me?
Yeah, we'll start with you. Yeah.
I am independent, but I lean conservative. Not as much anymore as I used to, but I did vote for Trump. Mm-hmm. But I did post on my Facebook page, instead of I voted, I put I vomited because I didn't want to, but I didn't,
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I voted Republican. I agree with some things of Trump, but most I do not right now.
Right.
I do not, no.
And John, what's that like for you?
Well, this is my first time voting because I was just turned 18 right before I was able to vote. So I voted for Trump, but I'm primarily a Democrat.
Senator, who'd you vote for?
It wasn't Trump. Let me throw out a question.
Yeah.
You are living, shock of all shocks, in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. Do you feel that down here?
No. People are not surviving. We just had our food bank yesterday. We usually pack for 80 people. We served 102 yesterday. It is getting worse. Nobody's surviving right now.
My husband works at the hospital, and there are several ODs every single day.
Only a town of 6,000.
Yeah, we're not a big town.
Several ODs every day?
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you this, and you may not know the answer. Nobody does, because, again, this is not just the West Virginia issue. We got it.
This after Eric Adams shows just how weird our opponents are and how normal our allies are.
It's true. The people we need to build coalitions with aren't the Hakeem Jeffries of the world. They're not the, Eric Adams of the world. They're not the Chuck Schumers of the world. It's the working folk of the world. That's our task here, is to recognize that these people have some very valid material concerns, and we need to be able to speak to and address those material concerns, and by doing so, build a coalition capable of bettering all of our lives and raising all of our boats. To go with the Riverboat Jack analogy.
Terrible in Vermont. So why are people doing drugs?
In my thing that I see, because I work a lot in addiction, is it's mental health issues.
It's what?
Mental health issues. Lack of jobs, poverty, lack of support for our veterans.
You find many veterans doing drugs?
Oh, yes. And homeless. And that irritates me. They stood up, they fought for our country, and we can't even afford to give them housing.
I always wondered, how did so many drugs get into this state?
Interesting thing has been happening in the data this year. Rural America shifted 20 points bluer since the 2024 election, from Republican plus 30 to Republican plus 10 in polls in the summer. I was very skeptical of it turning into reality, but the exit polls showed it's true how rural America has shifted 20 points bluer, nearly exactly matching up with what that poll said. There's a huge shift happening, and we could see crazy things in the midterms with 20-point swings. I mean, for sure, right? Like, I think that there are a lot of things that could happen here, but the main thing is, by running on hard economic reality, that we need to do better by working people, and we need to keep these rural hospitals open, and we need to make sure people have healthcare. Like, these are everyday, real and pressing concerns for communities all across the United States. Like, keeping a stocked food bank and like enough of a budget on hand for folks to work there, like, that has meaningful ripples out to wider communities. And like, there needs to be that focus on material issues, because folks who live in those communities, they're aware of those issues.
We have thoughts about that. How did so many? Yeah.
The doctor's pushing it.
Talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, my mother was an addict, and that's how she got addicted. Was
Jack, she didn't say migrants. When did I say she said migrants?
a lot in addiction.
She was talking about veterans and homeless people.
It's mental health issues.
It's what? Mental
health issues.
Lack of jobs.
Lack of jobs, poverty, lack of support for our veterans.
Do you find many veterans doing drugs?
Oh, yes.
And homeless.
And
that irritates me. They stood up, they fought for our country, and we can't even afford to give them housing.
Oh, I see what your point is, Salmon Moose. My bad.
I always wondered, how did so many drugs get into this state? We have thoughts about that. How did so many? Yeah.
The doctor's pushing it.
Yeah, well, and that's because a lot of folks it sounds like they live in a rural area that is close by, or maybe a rural community that sustains a local rural hospital, right? And folks who work in and around those kinds of hospital systems, they'll be the first to tell you that the people bringing the drugs into the country aren't like migrants. They're the doctors that are prescribing the medication, like fentanyl, that is used in hospitals.
About that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, my mother was an addict, and that's how she got addicted. Was she had a back injury. The doctor kept prescribing medicine. Eventually that medicine didn't work, and she had to start doing the harder stuff. Sadly, she passed away from a drug overdose. So, I mean, I understand the addiction part of it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to fight. And addiction just doesn't affect the person that's doing it. It affects the whole family, the whole area.
Grow up around this kind of poverty long enough, and you start to lose faith in the political system that allowed it to happen. While Trump may put up huge numbers at the ballot box, nearly half of West Virginians don't even show up to vote at all. One of the highest non-voting rates in the country.
And I think the message is not complicated. People throughout the country, especially in rural areas, feel neglected. They are hurting financially. The Democratic Party, by and large, has kind of ignored those people, turned its back on them.
Not always, though, right?
Not always. No.
Especially here. I mean, it was 80 years of Democrats before it flipped.
You got it. This is one of the strongest Democratic states in the country. You're a strong union state, working class state. But I think what happened in West Virginia is a perfect example of the decline of the Democratic Party nationally.
To understand what happened to the Democratic Party in West Virginia, you need to understand the history of coal.
I'm a mine worker, generational mine worker. We built these towns.
By the way, these same mine workers from these same miner communities have had to go during the government shutdown to Washington, D.C. to try and protest on the streets this administration. The same people that Donald Trump and Republicans claim to be, protecting, the coal miners. They're out there protesting because the Trump administration rolled back regulation on the amount of coal dust that coal miners are allowed to breathe in. They're no longer enforcing those regulations, and now coal miners are afraid to go down there because they're now breathing in even more coal dust. Like the Trump administration is literally bringing back black lung. And these people have to go, like, take the time out of their lives to go and protest in Washington, D.C. when they're coal miners. They're not doing super great. You know, just in general, it is deeply unfair that they have had to fight for just the basic ability to breathe air while doing their job.
All of us.
But I think that is very indicative of where corporate America is at right now under the Trump administration, and where the Trump administration wants working people in this country to be. And that is, you know, having trouble breathing. You know? We're having trouble breathing. We're having trouble forming unions, I guess. At least that's probably their reasoning.
There was a time when coal companies controlled almost everything, and speaking out against the boss could get you beaten, evicted, or worse. But in 1921, all of that boiled over at the Battle of Blair Mountain, the largest labor uprising in U.S. history.
Hell yeah.
Way back when, in the 1920s, it wasn't quite so civil. But we got to respect those people, our ancestors.
The mine wars, our own history here, is kept out of the textbooks, really.
Is that true?
It's not in the popular imagination. I mean, that's been scrubbed because I think it's dangerous. You know, it's a threat. It's a threat to power.
Yeah.
Those early fights built the United Mine Workers of America and inspired a national labor movement that won the 8-hour day, paid vacations, and the weekend.
Yep.
And for decades, it was the Democratic Party who defended the unions. So working class West Virginians kept that fire going at the ballot box. But coal burns fast, and eventually the flame died out.
Well, I mean, the entire premise of the New Deal under FDR was to essentially mollify the union movement that had led to events like the Battle of Blair Mountain, right?
What's the Battle of Blair Mountain? Snow-capped mountain, haven't heard any songs about that, especially during this stream.
Yeah, no, it's not one of the most commonly used songs to introduce stream or anything. Shout out to Louise Mosery.
Are we sure people need air? I've seen people go hours, days, even with no air.
Nathan, thank you for the $5 dono. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Very much appreciated. Love that song. It's such a good song. It's true. A lot of people never learn about, like, the coal mining wars. They never learn about the fact that, you know, the New Deal didn't just come about because of FDR's generous spirit. Like, it came out because FDR was trying to form a third way, if you will, between the capitalist robber barons and the working people of the United States. And the New Deal was designed to defang that worker-based movement. And eventually, once it became sufficiently defanged and demobilized, like, the robber barons' sons and grandsons.
The Battle of Blair Mountain was when a trans woman decides she wants to be the biggest pick-me on the hill of pick-me's and grift.
Yes, the Battle of Blair Mountain is about the Battle of the Blairs. Every trans woman named Blair has to fight to the death on the mountaintop. That's just how it works. That's just science, people. But like, it is one of those situations where, like, folks never learned that the New Deal was a compromise designed to defang labor. And when the robber baron's sons and grandsons came around, they knew what the assignment was. They knew that their assignment was break labor. And that's how we get someone like Ronald Reagan, right? And Ronald Reagan then heralded the death of the labor movement in the United States.
Did somebody say Brokeback Mountain?
Or at least the temporary death of the labor movement, because I don't know if you guys noticed, still kind of around a little bit. A little guy named Zoran Mamdani recently showed that it's still alive and kicking. And, you know, mark your calendars, May Day 2028. Maybe the labor movement still got some life in it yet. So unionize and get your contracts set for May Day of 2028, folks.
Within a few decades, we went from over 100,000 coal miners to around 10,000 today, and only a fraction of those still unionized. As the union shrank, so did the backbone of the Democratic Party. So the Democrats shifted their strategy. They left the coal towns and the haulers to chase corporate money and suburban votes someplace else.
For every blue-collar Democrat we will lose in Western PA, we will pick up 2-3 moderate Republicans in the suburbs of Philadelphia.
And this has, by the way, remained the main policy of the Democratic Party until, well, I would say until now, because Democrats simply cannot do this strategy anymore.
You can repeat that in Ohio and Illinois and Wisconsin.
The whole valley here was Democrat for years and years, and here the last 5 or 6 years, it has evolved into red.
I had a broke-back modem once, but things are a lot better now. I have fiber to the premises.
Hell yes, Salmon Moose. Thank you for the $5 dono.
West Virginia's turn from deep blue to solid red happened fast, all while hospitals struggled to stay open, classrooms emptied out, and opioids were pumped into these hills. Then came Trump, who promised to turn back the clock.
Coal is coming back. Clean coal is coming back. 100%.
Donald Trump says he's going to bring back jobs to Appalachia, to the coal mining areas.
Yeah, they may do it. You can see President Trump's bringing in all kind of industry. There's going to be jobs up the kazoo.
Look, why is Trump president? It's not complicated, in my view.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party was about protecting the status quo and tinkering around the edges.
Yeah.
You know, we promise you we're not going to do anything bold. We're very bipartisan. We're going to work with the business community. We love billionaires. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? And Trump comes along and says the system is broken.
Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why
are aroused. I haven't seen
alone
people so
can
aroused
fix
in
it.
a very, very
and you know
long
what?
time.
He's right. The system is broken. Now, his solutions only make it worse.
Trump, for all his promises, has not brought the coal industry back. But with the big, beautiful...
Dang, you telling me he didn't bring it back after his term and ended in 2020? That's crazy. He hadn't brought it back then. Maybe he'll bring it back the second time around. Maybe he's just waiting for, year 2 of his second term to bring back coal. Maybe it'll be next year.
Bill, his signature piece of legislation, he made his mark on West Virginia. It's estimated that more than 50,000 West Virginians will be cut from Medicaid. At least 7 hospitals in the state are at risk of shutting down, and as many as 84,000 people will lose access to food assistance because of this bill.
So,
yeah, because keep in mind, that bill also cuts food assistance. We are currently in a period of unstable food assistance because the government shutdown is occurring. But the bill that Democrats are currently fighting with the shutdown also cuts food assistance.
In this bill, Trump's big, beautiful bill, why do you think they cut Medicaid? To save government money so that, what?
They can give tax to their donors.
Exactly. It's not only $1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1%. It's a huge...
At the rate at which the planet is warming, the dinosaurs will come back, then die, and give us more fossil fuel again.
Hell yeah! Our strategy is to force evolve dinosaurs again. Let's go!
Why are we judging Trump when we are still in a Biden recession and a Biden shutdown?
It's just like even these people get it. They're like, oh yeah, he's cutting $1 trillion from Medicaid in order to give it to his biggest donors. Insane. Huge
tax breaks to large corporations as well.
So why do they need to have a tax break?
All right.
I
now
use
you're
a tax
asking
break.
me.
I mean, I'm being real. I know I pay like 26% taxes. Like, I could use that money.
Look, these people on top are not nice people. They want more and more. They don't have $1 million. That's chump change.
Yeah.
And we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars in some case.
When you live here, it feels like a poor country.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
I mean, when you say we're the wealthiest, like you said that several times yesterday, and I was like, is it true though? Because like,
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
In aggregate, that's what, look, if we're sitting here and I'm worth $1 billion and all of you are broke, you add it all together and divide it, we're very wealthy, right? We're all worth $100 million. But I got $1 billion and you got nothing. That's America. And if I say that I think the United States should do what every other major country on earth does, guarantee health care to all people as a human right, are you going to think I'm a communist and a terrible person?
I think if people listen, if you talk the way that you did, and you're so reasonable, like they've painted you in a bad light, and it actually makes me very angry because, you know, you see things and you believe it. I'll just be.
Yeah, I mean, like these people all live in ecosystems where the information is highly filtered. You know, it's filtered through Fox News. It's filtered through, you know, conservative pundits online. It's filtered through the media capture of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. It's filtered through so many different avenues. And a lot of these folks just don't know. Like, yeah, America is the wealthiest nation to ever exist on Earth. But the people at the bottom don't experience that wealth because it is hoarded and locked up in the vaults of the wealthy so that they can live an unimaginable lifestyle of opulence where they're capable of just building spaceships to escape the planet.
You know
if
what
they
else
want
this
to.
country should do that every other modern country does? Recognize Palestine as a state and condemn Israel for their genocide,
You know what? I agree. Agreed. Also, Saki Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. But a lot of these folks just don't get it yet, right? And so they're told that folks who say that they're socialists are insane and unreasonable, and they don't know what socialism is, but it sounds scary when it's filtered through Fox News. It sounds unreasonable when it's filtered through Fox News. But then you get them across the table from an older man who's just like, yep, they're cutting $1 trillion away from Medicaid. Why do you think that is? They're like, well, to give to their wealthy donors, right? And it's like, yep, nailed it. And you know what? We could, in fact, just have tax policies that benefit everybody and get everyone healthcare and everyone the food and shelter that they need. And it's like, when you put it in very simple terms, socialism is the most logical possible thing. But that's why these billionaire assholes feel the need to build up barriers in the media ecosystems. And it's to keep people like us from talking with people like them.
We don't talk about what happens when you get them across the table from an older man.
Yeah, no, Saki Tanuki, you're right. That was dangerous phrasing on my part, considering what we just watched with the Eric Adams interview with Z-Way. So, you know, point taken. When you're across the table from Bernie Sanders, how about that? Or a socialist. God.
To be honest, I haven't really seen you talk before. I haven't really I don't follow politics that much. And so the last couple days before.
See, like, this lady's being on the level. Like, she's like, I actually don't know much about you at all, except people say you're the devil, and now I'm talking to you, and you seem totally fine.
For this, I started watching some of your speeches, and I started watching your interviews, and I was shocked. I was like, oh.
Not as bad as they had told you.
That one American, yeah, he was harassing her the entire time. It was really gross.
Huh?
This is not how he's portrayed in the media, right?
If we had public rail across America, it would be easier for up-and-coming independents to campaign.
Oh man, that'd be so cool. Honestly, not a bad strat to like ride a train and do like a train-based Amtrak campaign across America. Not the worst idea. It's been a while since we had a presidential candidate do that.
We're told that the biggest divide in America is between left and right.
Yeah, here you go, Lee
But Bernie came here to flip that story on its head.
I think that whether you're in rural West Virginia or in Burlington, Vermont, you got the same exact issues. And I think we don't let people divide us up. We got to come
Yes, it used to be a very common campaign tactic to ride the train across America
together to fight for all of us.
Trains' rights are American rights and human rights.
Hell yeah, Sake Tanuki. 100%. We support trains' rights in this house and trans rights in this house.
Over 100 years ago, they called us rednecks because striking workers from all different races wore red bandanas around their necks as they fought and died for respect and a living wage.
Yeah, like the label of redneck should like it. We should retake some of these older labor terms because people fought and died to have some respect put on that. You know?
That history was mostly erased from our textbooks, but it never went away. It's still here, scattered all.
It doesn't mean sunburn. Nah, it's a reference to red bandanas. And many of you are familiar with the song I play at the beginning of stream, which is Louise Mosery's Blair Mountain. In the song, she talks about the workers wearing red bandanas to know what side they're on, because they're the rednecks of 1921, right? And so the red bandanas they wore were to show that they were, union folk. They were out there fighting for their right to work together with their fellow workers, and the way they told themselves apart from the rest was to wear those red bandanas as a sign of solidarity.
All across the state.
And yeah, you wear the bandana to protect your neck from burns. Exactly.
If you know where to look.
My grandfather fought at Blair Mountain.
Your grandfather fought at Blair Mountain?
Yes.
What do you think this country at this moment needs to learn from your grandfather who fought at Blair Mountain?
Mm-hmm. Well, you just can't stand and let them step on you. You got to get up and fight.
So that is what our struggle is about, is to take on the greed of these people and say, you know what? You cannot and will not have it all.
Bernie Sanders is 84 years old. He's not running for president.
But he's old, but damn, he can still command an audience and form an argument and win these people over. And it's a skill that I wish so many more people had, because we need to be joining our local Democrats, joining our local DSAs, and building coalitions with labor groups. That we need to be doing that. And the fact that there aren't more ties between organized labor and farther left organizing apparatuses like the DSA. And granted, there are a lot, but there's a lot more work that needs to be done in every corner of this country in those regards. And if you are interested in helping, you can be part of the solution. So join our Discord, reach out to Gamergy for help joining DSA, reach out to Dragonfly for help joining Dems.
That's why the term redneck has been specifically engineered to mean stupid backwater hick. It's always been about suppressing labor.
Yep, exactly, Pluvius. Exactly. Thank you for the $5 dono.
It's almost as if compassion was a political skill before the reign of Pelosi.
I mean, yeah, and then Nancy Pelosi, her legacy is going to be unflattering at best.
He's got the eye of the tiger and a fire in his soul. Once I finally move, I swear I am getting involved in politics.
Let's fucking go.
But maybe what he's after is way bigger than one election.
How do we get the corporate wing of the Democratic Party, who is just as guilty of taking money from billionaire causes, to embrace a progressive working class agenda, because it's about time?
What's your name?
Max.
You're gonna lead it, Max.
Look, but that's that's what it's going to take. Right? Like, no one is coming to save us. There is not like a mystical figure. Like, Bernie alone can't do this. If he could have, he would have done it by now. But it's going to take people like Max, people like you, and people like me, all working together in whatever capacities we can. And we're all going to be limited in some way, and that's going to be the frustrating part. You know? You're going to be limited by the amount of time you have in the day after you're done with work. You're going to be limited by the amount of energy you have. You're going to be limited by your various interests and inclinations. But we need to also do more.
IWW2.
Yeah, the international workers of the world. Exactly. Irascended Kitten, thank you for the $5 dono and the reminder about the IWW. It takes all of us working together, and it's not like I do want I want everyone in this community to be on the same page that we need to be doing more, and it can't just be showing up at the occasional protest. It has to be becoming more active and more aware in our political lives, in our local areas. That's ideally maybe the best place to start. You know, even Bernie Sanders, someone who is now moving crowds of tens of thousands in the middle of nowhere, started by drawing a handful of people in Vermont. And we all need to start somewhere. And we all need to start as soon as humanly possible. No one is coming to save us, but we together can save ourselves. So please get involved. Or at least start thinking about how you can get involved and make a plan.
This state was once one of the strongest democratic.
See, they're wearing the red bandanas.
Look, this state was once one of the strongest democratic states in the country. And I think people gave up on the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party gave up on them. So take it back. Don't ask, take it.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, no more asking Chuck Schumer for permission. No more waiting for Nancy Pelosi to suddenly, like, turn over a new leaf. Start fucking showing up. Like, one of the things that bothers me so much is that a lot of people, and I'll see this in my comments all the time, when I bring up, like, oh, get organized with DSA, get organized with your local Dems. People being like, oh, but the Dems are too corrupt. And it's like, then take the party from them. Do the work of taking it.
For the most is UBI, but a close second is trains across every state linking rural SND urban and state to state.
Hell yeah. But, like, take back the party for labor. If they are all old and out of touch and serving capital, then take it from them. You, like, when you say they're old, out of touch, and serving capital, those are weaknesses. You are just observing that they are weak. Take it back. Take advantage of the fact that they are weak, and take it back for labor. Take it back for the working people. Radicalize your local Dems and take it fucking back. And you know what? Being a member of DSA can also help you to radicalize your Dems and build more bonds between your DSA radicalization engine and your, you know, democratic electoral machine. Build those bonds and work together. What are your thoughts on Peggy Flanagan, the lieutenant governor of Minnesota? Generally, I think she's pretty great. Yeah, your local Dems aren't fucking Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries, and they haven't been paid off by, like, capital, generally speaking. Yeah, Peggy Flanagan's great. I would vote for her. Like, I was pretty excited that she might become the new governor if Tim Walz had gone on to be vice president. I was excited at that prospect. It would have been historic. But running for Senate, I think, is even better. I think she would do a good job.
You have been to how many Bernie rallies now?
3.
And over what period of time did that take place?
2 days. The first night was just like real eye-opening for me. It was like I'm a whole.
She went to 3 in 2 days. That's how much these kinds of working class policy proposals being championed, that's how much it is effective. These are people who are deeply alienated from this country right now and are looking for a lifeline. Folks on the left can build that lifeline for them. Doesn't have to be a hopeless, miserable pit for all of us.
Mind shift of my whole belief system of how we could come together as a people.
Yeah.
We all want our kids to have a safe place to live. We all want our kids to have food. We all want our kids to have health care. Like, there's no difference. We all need to fight together.
Yeah.
Because if we're fighting each other, we're not going to ever get anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Did you expect to walk out of here with a shirt?
I did not expect to walk out of here with a shirt.
Oh, hell yeah. Girl, let's go!
Help. I'm literally in Chuck Schumer's state and too close to Hakeem Jeffries.
Look, all you need to do is convince Hakeem Jeffries to not seek re-election. If you're very close, okay, just start inceptioning him to not seek re-election. Sake Tanuki. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Also, there are actions you can take other than just electoralism. Go to local organizer meetings in your community, find out needs. Exactly!
America is starved not just of food but of life, the smallest push, and we can crack the whole thing open. These people love socialism and they don't even realize it.
It's true. Because they need the socialism. They need the solidarity. They need that rebuilding of human connection. And Gayfesh, excellent points all. And I've also, I'm not saying that getting involved with your Dems is the only way to do politics. I'm not saying that getting involved with your local DSA is the only way to do politics, but I am saying that if your concern is the current neoliberal stranglehold of this country, and you are interested in shaking off that electoral yoke, then engaging in and building that electoral power is an important component of us unfucking this system. But I also think that, especially right now when we're talking about survival against and resistance against the Trump administration and the fascists that, infest it, then yeah, that on the ground organizing component needs to include community-based approaches. Whatever the groups are in your community that hold power and that are organizing against this, joining them is vitally important. And I would also argue that one of the important things to do at this moment in time is to connect your local DSA and your local Dems with those networks, because there are well-meaning people who show up all the time to every single organized Dem event in your local area, and they could also be showing up for other local organizing needs, whether it is Ice Watch or Rapid Response or other forms of direct action, or even just showing up at food banks or showing up in order to do XYZ when this time is in crisis, showing up to provide food to striking union workers. These are things that need to happen. And the idea and the concept of electoral politics existing in its own silo in opposition to direct action, I reject that, because I think now is a perfect time for us to be breaking down that barrier between the two. I think people are far more inclined to trust and work with and build power alongside with Democrats that are willing to get on the front lines and do the work. Democrats like Kat Abu-Ghazaleh, who is turning her campaign headquarters into temporary food bank, into a place where people in the community can come in and rest. Like, these are important things that you can start to incorporate into political campaigns and into political messaging. And also, very importantly, the folks in your community who really give a damn but might not know about those different opportunities. people who are older and just aren't as educated on what's happening in their own communities, because we are all so fucking atomized from each other by this system. I don't think we're acknowledging that there are a lot of roadblocks and roadblockers, as in people who are young and libs and don't want progressives. I know this because I was pushed out of my local Dems because I was too loud and too much. Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, that's why one of the reasons why I advocate for folks to get involved with their local progressive organizations and to build that power. Because if your local Dems or your local DSA already has like a block of power that is too big for you alone to fix, then you gotta get other people from the community, and you gotta find them elsewhere. And then you can bring those people in with you. And then you beat the established power dynamics of that group, right? Like, if it is hostile, if your local Dems are hostile to the concept of working people being involved in politics and being active in politics and bettering their lives with politics, then it'd be like we're talking about an entirely different scenario where you then need to go out and get friends someplace else to come in and shatter that power that they have built up against action. And I'm not saying any of this will be easy, and I'm not saying it's fun all the time, because there are roadblocks, and power is going to fight attempts to help working people, because right now a lot of people are misusing that power for their own ends. And it is necessary to build a coalitional structure that can actually oppose folks that are committed to maintaining the status quo. Because the status quo got us here, and the status quo cannot be abided. I agree that there are roadblocks, but understand, just like taking over a pirate ship, we're taking over the ship. There are going to be people who try and fight back and who don't want the status quo to change. There are going to be people like your Hakeem Jeffries and your Chuck Schumers. And the entire purpose of us getting involved is to make them bend the knee by building up our own sources of power in our local community amongst our fellow workers. So I think I said something that makes sense there, and I think that's a good note to end it on.
Nothing's stopping you from wearing a Grim Reaper costume and hanging out on your local representative's route to work.
Nothing is stopping you and two other friends from posing as the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future to try and Ebenezer Scrooge some of your local politicians. Okay? Some of them might be willing to buy it, especially if you tell that story with Muppets. But if you're worried about copyright, you can use off-brand Muppet-like creatures. Almost as if power doesn't concede anything without a demand. Never has, never did. Some guy named Fred said that? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Like, comment, and subscribe. Support the stream. Don't take corpo money. You guys are the ones who make this stream possible, so thank you to everyone who's supporting.
The ghost of Bailey's past.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
Chuck Schumer's never seen the Baileys this aroused before.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat.